In 2000, the two villages Xidi and Hongcun in Yixian County, Anhui Province, were put on the UNESCO's list of World Cultural Heritage. This was the first time that UNESCO put villages and resident houses in the list. Why these two little villages could become World Heritages? Hongcun is a very beautiful village with water near the house and mountains far away. The walls here are white and tiles black. Ancient paths covered by gemstones always shining under the twilight. Tiny bridges and a family aside of a flowing river. It is said that Hongcun is a village in Chinese painting. Countryside landscape in poetry and wonderland in dreams may be just like this. Hongcun is not only beautiful but also a miracle because of the magical waterway. The water comes from the spring originated from east side of the mountain. People of Hongcun have built a dam to raise the water level and channel the water into the village. Under their careful design and construction, after the water passes every house in the village, it goes to the pool in the middle as to filter for its next journey across the other half of the village. After that, the water runs to a bigger pool outside the village to be filtered again before it finally runs to the riverbed. The water passes thousands of houses and all of the houses have water pass by. Because of the boundless flowing water, people in Hongcun can enjoy clear spring at home without worrying fire damage. In case of heavy rain, retained water in yards can be drained through ditches and channels. As there are gateway control, water pool regulation and buffer design of the channels, the water level, amount and speed in the channel are always the same. Built in 15th century AD, such water system is still advanced even nowadays. Today, visitors in Hongcun can't help but admiring the wisdom of designers of this time-honored water system. What impressed us most is that this water system, together with the whole village, has been designed under a bionics principle. Overlooking Hongcun, it is like a buffalo. The mountain is the head, the big oak trees is the horns. The resident house is a body, and the stone bridges are legs. These zigzag channels are the intestines of this buffalo, while the small pool is stomach and the big pool is belly. As we know, buffalo is a symbol of traditional farming society. Then what is the significance behind the fact that this village layout is the shape of this symbol? Actually, thanks to the purifying effect of the lakes and care of its residents, this village enjoys hundreds of years of clear water and regulated temperature and humidity. Such harmony between man and nature has given Hongcun vigor and vitality. The magic of Hongcun is found not only in its water system, but also hidden in the luxurious residence behind the high walls. Chenzhi Tang, built in 1855, covers 3,000 square meters. It has 136 pillars, 60 doors, 60 windows, 7 attics, and 9 shafts. There are chambers for playing cards, rooms for smoking, and house for fishing, with complete supply of facilities. These exquisite carvings can be found in almost everywhere in the big residence. And on this wooden beam, less than 2 meters long and 30.3 meters wide, an emperor treating his underlings is well presented. Among the 30-plus carved figure, you can find people playing musical instruments. some reading, some plain cheese. And the most vivid one is about a servant boiling water and a hairdresser picking ear for an official. It is said that this house cost 600,000 liang silver, and gold used for painting on these beams alone amount to over 100 liang silver. Such extravagant house is rare even in big cities, let alone in such small village. No wonder it is called the village summer palace. Yet the question is, why in this plain and peaceful village is such an architecture that rivals royal palace? This memorial arch is a pride of Xidi, and it has been standing tall since the 14th century, older than Hongcun villages. This is a symbol of those people who made it outside world. In ancient times, Wangnan was called Huizhou, and locals had to make a living in other places because of land scarcity. And local saying goes, if you did not do well in your previous life, you were condemned to be born in Huizhou and left then to their own mercy at the age of 12 or 13. Any locals succeeded. From the 14th to 19th century, businessmen from Huzhou made their mark and were reputed for wealth. Owner of Chengzhi Town in Hongcun, Wang Dinggui made his fortune from salt business. He also bought an official post without real power. Disillusioned, he spent tons of silver on construction of this countryside version of Palace Museum. Buildings similar to Chengzhi Town are not rare in those villages in Wangnan district. Hui-style ancient residences in Seedy are best preserved. Seedy Village, built in the 11th century, was home to over 3,000 people in its heyday. At present, there are 300 households. Its original look is still well preserved, and many of the houses in this village are over 200 years old. Through deep and narrow alleys, flaked white walls, and moss-painted gray tiles, stone paths are imprinted with the footprint of ages. Those who strive to make a living outside Huzhou always believe in one thing. Whatever happened in the outside world, hometown nestled in hills without easy access was a blessed land for happy life. Therefore, they would build houses with hard-earned money. Even these builders were gone for years, but their houses keep good record of the bygone times on each stone, each tile, beam, and pillar. While struggling with life, those Huizhou businessmen valued security and stability. That is why tall walls and big houses are the main features of structures in this area. Tall walls would cut fire and prevent it from spreading further when the neighbor is on fire. They can also serve as block of wind, burglars, and curious peeping. Because of the curved wall edge, this kind of wall is also called horsehead wall. Such elegant curves make the house rhythmic and dynamic. In the middle of the walled house, there's a courtyard. It improves illumination, ventilation carries special meaning. Since those businessmen were intending on accumulating wealth, they used this courtyard to collect rainwater. It drained it through sewage of their own house, and this design also has a special local name, Shui Gui Tang. The most elaborately decorated place is the hall. This wall is called screen wall, which divides the hall into two parts. The interior hall is for guest meeting. The interior hall, meeting place for a gathering of female family members. Usually pictures with auspicious meaning are put on this wall, and in time of family sacrificial rituals, ancestors' pictures would be put on. Under the scroll there's a desk with a clock on in the middle and a pair of vases on each side. In Qing Dynasty, men wore a skull cap. When they entered the hall, they would put the cap on the vase, so the case is also called cap stand. On the left side of the vase, there is a real big vase. On the right is a mirror with wooden base. The whole setting means lifelong peace. As those businessmen were not home most of the time, so their family always prayed for their safety. Retired businessmen wanted to live a peaceful life, free from competition and urgency. Offspring of those businessmen enjoyed peace and tranquility. So these ordinary setting and props are a good expression of the hope of Huizhou people. Decorative beauty is a tireless pursuit in Huizhou residence. Lake windows on courtyard walls have as many as 8 layers of patterns. Door cover on the frame is embedded with brick or stone carvings of all shapes. Even the courtyard is also laced with a complicated decoration in the shape of a flower basket. That's the name, Flower Basket Hall. The art of sculpture is also handed down and preserved for generations. Even today, young Seedy villages still carve on stone, bricks, and wood. Most of their products are used as souvenirs for visitors, and they're still proud of their ancestors.
像这就是我们家，就是祖传的房子。我们现在呢就做些生意，另外呢做一些雕刻艺术。
This house is 300 years old. My ancestor claimed to be one of the top 6 richest men in south of Yangtze River. All the paved paths in this village were constructed with his money. Many old bridges in Hongcun city were also built with his money.
让子孙后代呢永续利用。
One man's ancestor was called Hu Guansan, who is one of the most famous figure in Seedy history. In his prime time, he owned 36 pawn shops and over 20 private banks. His asset amounted to as much as 5 million liang of silver. His tremendous wealth earned him respect from royal court officials. The prime minister had his daughter married to Hu's son, and to welcome this girl, Hu built a huge building in the entrance of the village. The corridor of this building was so long and wide that people say a horse can race there. That's why it is also called Horse Racing Loft. Nowadays, it has become a tourist attraction where performance is given every day so that the visitors can experience past and the present at the same time. The ancestral hall is also constructed with Hu Guansan's investment. In Wannan area, most villages are inhabited by people of the same surname. For example, in Hongcun village, most residents' surname is Wang, while in Xidi it is Hu. In old villages, ancestral hall is the most important structure because it is where the whole group reveres their ancestors, a place where they are bonded together. That is why most ancestral halls are grand, solemn, and exquisite. For big family groups, they have ancestral temple as well as family ancestral shrine. For example, Zhuimu Tang is the ancestral temple for Hu family, while Jing'an Tang is their family ancestral shrine. A Chinese character calligraphy is a Han in Jing'an Tang. Its character Xiao means to respect and love the older generation. And this character looks very interesting because seen from this way, it looks like a person and a monkey from another way. It means a filial person is a good offspring, while a person who does not honor his or her filial duty is not a complete human being. Sacrifice to ancestors is still going on in Zhuimu Tang, Sichuan villages. Dressed in ancestors' costumes, they are paying homage to their forefathers. For what are they praying? To keep longer this heritage from those presidents? In Wannan regions, there are tens of hundreds of ancient villages. Seedy and Hongcun are only two representatives.